Hello everyone, my name is Nathan and today I'm going to make a how-to video demonstrating how you can use the same Google spreadsheet that I use to track Magic Online win rates, matchups, and overall Magic Online account value. So let's get started. The first thing you're going to want to do after you click on the Magic Online link is this sheet is not going to be editable. So what you're going to want to do is go to make a copy, and this will allow you to make a copy from my Google Sheet, which will just be viewable, to your Google Sheets where you can actually edit it. Now the way that you get started using it is there's a tab called Start Here, and you need to enter some information in. So if you don't have to use the ticket value, like tracking the value of your account feature if you don't want to, but it's something that I like doing, just more data, I guess. So what you're going to want to do is put in your number of starting tickets and play points. So let's say that you have 20 tickets in your account that you want to devote towards grinding, if you want to call it that, or trying to go infinite, and 100 play points. Now, just a tip. What I do in order, because I have more ticks than I started. Like I started with 50 ticks and I don't know, like 170 now or something like that. And the way that I keep that in sync, or the way that I keep any extra tickets I might have separate from what I'm considering part of my bankroll, if you want to call it that, is I use the binder version. So what I do every once in a while is I go to my collection and I go to other, the tab, so I can look at my tickets. And I just make sure that and I open the binder, and I make sure that the number of tickets in my collection, not including the ones in my binder, it does subtract those, match whatever the number here, the latest ending tickets number is. And so let's say that says it's 100, and I have 105. Then what I'll do is I'll drag 5 down to the trade binder. So if I ever want to buy anything with tickets, I can use what's in my trade binder if I want to. As long as I don't go below that number, then I'm sort of keeping my bankroll synced up. Now, in theory, you could come in here and if you wanted to just make an adjustment to that, like let's say that you started with 50 tickets and now you have 200 and you want to give yourself 100 tickets, you could come into one of these line items and say ticket cost was 100, which would remove it from your bankroll, and which would also remove it from your overall value column. We're going to get into this side. And then you could put a comment that basically said just cashing out some tickets or something like that. And you actually wouldn't affect your matchup results, because everything else would be blank. So that's a little bit about the value side. Now, going back to getting started, if you have 20 ticks and 100 play points, you'll enter those. You'll also be able to enter some decks that you have. So let's say that you have Red Green Tron as a deck. You put it in here. Let's say that you have Blue Moon. That was a deck that I really enjoyed watching at the Pro Tour. Speaking of the Pro Tour, on some levels I think it's been awesome. I'm looking forward to watching the top 8 today. I've actually watched all of the Modern coverage, much to the dismay of my wife, who's actually been very supportive. As long as I've been making sure to get some nice family time in there, she hasn't been too annoyed with me wanting to sit in front of my computer and watch Magic coverage. Anyway, so you put your decks in, and what's nice about this is that will make them selectable in the spreadsheet, because you're maintaining consistency by selecting them on the other side of the spreadsheet. That will also allow you to then select them to look at different match win rates. And we're going to fill out a few different columns, a few different rows, so that I can show you how this works. Okay, so now what you see here is the play points and tickets that we entered on the Start Here tab have carried over. So we're starting with 20 tickets and ending with 20 tickets, and starting with 100 play points and ending with 100 play points, because nothing's actually happened. So let's go ahead and say that we're going to enter an event today. You enter the date. Now, event, this is just text. So you can type whatever you want. And by the way, right now, and I'm going to continue, I've been continually updating the spreadsheet, and I will continue to do so. Right now, I only have it set up to support 5 rounds. Another side note. If any of you are awesome at spreadsheets and you feel like you have some nice suggestions, please shoot them my way. I know one that I realized is like the match wins and match losses should probably be over here by match win percent. But I moved them quickly when I was first working on this video, and it broke something, and I just didn't feel like redoing it. So I'm going to leave it this way just so I can release this to you guys more quickly. Okay, so actually, before I go back, something else I should mention. If there is gray on the spreadsheet, that means that denotes basically a calculated field. If you like click on this one, you can see that it's doing a count if statement to basically count up the number of wins going down these various columns, and then summing them up. And that's so that the idea is you want to have to modify as few data fields as possible. Everything that we can calculate, we can, just so that the spreadsheet stays consistent, it doesn't break and things like that. Okay, so going back to how you use it. If you want to, so we're going to enter a league event. Now leagues, they cost, I want to say it's 8 tickets or 80 play points. So we're not going to spend any of our tickets. So like if I change this to say 8, then what we're going to see is that this has gone down from 20 to 12 at the end of this event. But if we win tickets, like let's say that we win a pack out of this and we sell that pack for 3 tickets, so we enter our winnings, then this will actually go up by 3. So we went down by 8, up by 3. But we're not going to use tickets. We're going to use our play points. So let's say we used 80 play points. And let's say that we're going to play Blue Moon. So then what you do is as you go through here, you just enter your results. So you can basically enter, let's say that round 1, you face Burn and you win. So let's say you 2-0'd that deck. Now what you can do here is select from a ton of different modern decks. Now occasionally I still run into one that I haven't seen. And what you do is if you want to add one, you can come in here and I will just show you. We're going to add one right now and we'll select that as our next matchup just as a demonstration. And because I'm not creative or not feeling creative at the moment, we're going to insert a row. You insert one above and you'll say like new deck. Okay. And then what you'll do is you'll just select this row and you'll drag across it, right? And when you get this little plus sign right at the corner, you drag it down and that will drag all of the previous calculations from the top and sync everything up and everything will be fine. So that's what you want to do if you pilot against a deck you didn't see. So let's go ahead and add that first. We'll say we fought against a deck called new deck. So you can your options are you can start typing. Your options are that you can just click and drag. I usually type if I know what it is. And then like if you get the situation where the column's a little too short, you can double click and that'll even it out to the correct width. Okay, so let's continue going down. Let's say round 2. Let's say we did face Burn. So we will say Burn. Round 2 was a win, and we went 2-1. Then let's say round 3 was unfortunately a loss. We went 1 and 2 against Red Green Tron. Then round 4, just because I'm tired of seeing this deck already. It's not that it's not a sweet deck. Okay, so I guess I have Black White Eldrazi. So I might as well add it because it's a deck, and then you guys can get the spreadsheet with it added. So let's go do this again. And you're going to end up sorting this by like how many times you pair against certain matchups so you can see relevant data. But that's what it's really about, right? You want to track it for fun, but you also want to generate some meaningful statistical data that will improve how you're making deck selection choices. So if you see that you play against Affinity a ton and you lose to it a ton, then maybe you can look at the numbers and say, you know what, I need more Affinity hate based on the numbers here. But let's add Eldrazi. And I guess what we say, we have Be White Eldrazi. I guess we can say just colorless Eldrazi because that is a pretty popular one right now, at least at the Pro Tour. So I just do this alphabetically. And, you know, I don't know if you have to do it alphabetically because we're all resorting, but this is how I do it. Colorless Eldrazi. And I think it's actually, you don't have to, I think you can just, it does keyword searching. You don't have to do it Like, even you don't have to start typing colorless, I think. So if we just come in here and say, yeah, it pops up. So we'll say colorless Eldrazi. We went 2-0 against. And then round 5, you can say that, let's say, unfortunately, that was also a loss. And we just got wrecked by Infect. Let's say Mono Black Infect, because why not? All right, now let's say that, so we went, actually, you know what, because I can't remember what the rewards are for 3 and 2, I'm just going to say that you went 2 and 1, and that it was a win, because I have these memorized. I know that if you go 4 and 1, you win 120 play points, and you win 1 pack. So already, let me undo here, we can see how this changes. We started with 100 play points. We spent 80, so before the event ends, we have 20. But when we win 120, we go up to 140. We have the 2 left over. And then obviously you can see our total, our value continue to increase here in our account, our Magic Online account. But we're also actually going to win that pack. And let's say that right now it is Oath of the Gatewatch packs. So we should be able to sell them for 4-point-something tickets. So we're going to enter. I always enter the whole number. A lot of times when ticket values become less, you may get, say, 3.25 ticks, which means that every time you sell 4, you get an extra tick, at least in the account of whatever bot you're working with. So when you sell another pack, you will actually get the full 4. So I don't track the individual points on the bots. I just put whatever number of ticks I get back after selling the packs. So if it was 3.25 and the bot held 0.25 of credit, I'm just going to put 3. So what I'm going to put is 4 ticks in value. Okay, so let's say that we entered on the 8th, another league event. We did it. We spent 0 ticks because we don't want to spend our ticks, right? We just want to keep spending play points and keep that rolling. Spend another 80 play points. And the deck that we just choose to play in our list is Red Green Tron. Let's just say we 5-0'd this. Actually, gosh, I think it doesn't really matter, but I think if I could look it up. I'm just going to say I 4-1'd because it doesn't really matter what you do. Like, when you finish the event, you'll see what your reward is, and you'll be able to put it in here. But if we did 4-1 again, let's say that we started out kind of rough, and we went 0-2 with Tron against Burn. Then let's say that we won 2-0 against Blue-White-Red Control, and we won again. We went 2-0, tab, 0 against Esper Control, and round 4, we won again. We went 2-1 versus, I don't know, Naya Company, and then we won again, and we went 2-1 in round 5 versus, let's just see here, let's pick something interesting. Eternal Command, there's a deck you don't see much. Okay. So now we have some data, and then the same thing. We'll say that we won 3 ticks and the 120 play points for going 4-1 a league. And you can see here that... actually, I should enter one more thing because... just to show you that this does change. Let's say we went 1-2 and it was a loss. So we went 3-2 in this event. You can see that I wanted it so that it tracks your win rate over time. So I can see that we had an 80% win rate here, but then we dropped down to a 70% win rate. And obviously we don't have much data. But here, I'll just show you guys an example. Okay, so this looks a little different because it's an older version. But this is the spreadsheet that I was using just when I started making it. And I was also happy to be preparing for the regional Pro Tour qualifier. So I can see that, there's tons of data in here, obviously. I also, use things like, whenever I lost, if it's something I want to, that's notable, I want to know. So lost to etch, lost to etch, lost to etch. Obviously, I'm referring to affinity. That's when I really started to realize, like, not just in theory, but in actual practice, like how we lose to that deck, which it's normally to etch champion. Okay, so what you can see here is, we did really bad in our first couple of matches, but once we got started, we had to crawl back up from the 0%. So you can see what the win rate looked like over time. We finally started getting into the 60s, and we bounced between, we're 60, 61, 62, 63, 64. We stayed a lot in the 60s for a while, but anyway, my point in bringing this up was you can see how this. I didn't want it to just always be like, what is my match win rate now? I wanted to see like what it was over time. So this number will reflect how you do over time, and then I can see that we started. We were all the way up almost to 64, and then we really started this losing streak, and we've just sort of been steadily declining until I started this new spreadsheet. Obviously, you can also see the value in the account. So we started with a total value of 81, and we got up to a value of 179 here, 180. We got up to 191, 210. This also will sort of show you how that changes over time. And the idea was that I don't have cool graphs yet, but the idea was that I could generate some graphs that would show you visually, kind of at a glance, how you were doing. And obviously we can see here visually that, for quite a while we maintained a nice healthy win rate above 60%, and then we started diving down again. And then we can see what our values actually looked like, of course, corresponding to our losses, we started losing value in the account. But overall, we've been doing well, and hopefully we're still infinite, right? We're infinite until this gets to 0, I guess. Okay, so I'll keep this tab open in case I want to reference a sheet that has more data in it. And I probably will, but anyway, okay, so now we got a couple of things in there. So what you can do to try to make more sense of that is go over to your reports. And the thing is, like, out of the gate, it doesn't look like much because you'd have a bunch of data. And I guess it's actually a good reason. Well, let me show you how you get started, and then I'll click over to the other spreadsheet to show you more what you can do. Okay, so you can select your decks here. So this is interesting because if you have like 5 different decks you play, you don't just want to see them all together. And right here, you just see everything together. This is where you can make more sense per deck. So what you can actually do is you can say, okay, you can click Red, Green, Tron, and typically you'll just select the lowest date. And what that means is it'll look from 2-7 down. So it'll find this date and it'll go down. And that's useful because once you get a bunch of events in here, let's say you just want to look at the last 2 weeks or the last month, you can select whatever date that is, and it will, at least for these numbers, it will ignore everything above that. So what we can see is that we've played 5 matches. Our match win rate is 60%. Game win rate is 58.33. And what you want to do typically to make sense of this is you sort by times paired. So you'll do this, and we can see, okay, well, it pushes everything that's 0 to the bottom, and we can start looking at, the most paired deck and stuff like that. And then obviously these numbers will change automatically if you select Blue Moon. See, you only see 1 here because we play different decks, so you want to sort by times paired again. Then you can look at the decks that you're playing against that deck and see all the relevant numbers. So let's look at the old spreadsheet. Obviously, the different names. I was just calling it MTGO wins. Okay, so we're going to look at Blue Red Geist. Let's say that we wanted to just look, I don't know. Let's say what things look from October on. We'll sort by times paired here. And you can see we played Amulet Bloom the most. Our win rate was 50%. Affinity was next. We were at 53%. Burn was 84. Grixis Twin we played against it 12 times. We had a 75% win rate against Grixis Twin. Red Green Sean, not so good. Blue Red Twin was 62% win rate. Boggles was abysmal. Anyway, you can do, let's see, what else can you do? You can also do some things like, let's say you wanted to go back to the beginning and you want to see what deck do I have the highest win percentage against. Okay, so if you wanted to, I had to make a quick edit there. If you wanted to see what deck you have the highest win percentage against, what you need to do is you need to come in here and you sort Z to A, but you're going to get a bunch of these div 0 results. You'll have the results underneath that. But what you're going to do if you just want to eliminate those out, you'll come in here and uncheck div 0. You'll click the little thing. You click the thing and you'll see this, and then you uncheck div 0. You can see all the decks that we had. 100% win rate against Grixis Control, Mill, Pyromancer, various other decks. And you can actually, there is a way to create a custom filter where you could say sort by 100%, and like you could say sort by the number of match wins and 100%, so you can see, what decks you had the highest match wins against. And or which actually played the most. Rather, you do it by times paired and by match wins. So there's like we can see burn. We at this point we had played it 17 times. We had 82% win rate. That's great. We played against Grixis Twin 14 times, had a 78%. We played against Blue Red Twin 13 times, 76%. So it allows you to just, look at this stuff. Actually, interestingly, we played against Amiel Boom 20 times and 55% win rate. So considering how busted that deck is, that's not so bad. So that's how you can, more manipulate the data to show you things once you get data in it. The most important part is to just, put all this data in. Like I said, remember, if it's colored, it needs input. If it's gray, it's calculated. I think that basically covers everything. I'm not going to go into these because I never really found them as useful as I thought they would, and I was never really satisfied with them. As I make updates and improvements, I will try to make a video to explain. I hope you guys can get some value out of this. I don't want to get, I don't want the spreadsheet to become something I spend a ton of time on, like doing feature requests and things like that. But like I said, if you have some ideas, send them my way. I think that covers the basics on how to use it. There's going to be links in the description of the video. But honestly, if you just want to find it, probably the easiest thing to do is just go to greatnate.com, and when you get there, I haven't added it yet, but I will, you should see a drop down called resources, and then something like MTGO tracker or something like that, and click on that, and that'll take you to a page that has links to everything and this video if you want to revisit it. So as always, guys, thanks for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, like the video, tell people about it if you like it. I do enjoy making content for the Magic community, and the more people that watch, the better. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoy watching the top 8 of the Pro Tour and are having a great weekend, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Actually, next week. I hope to have a video started on Monday for the Jeskai Pyro Mentor deck. So see you guys then.